Hi, this is Suzanne in Ohio. I have a small project share to show you today. These are some small journal pockets that I made, and I thought they turned out so interesting. I wanted to show you the process of how I ended up with these designs. Now, they're nothing new in their basic style, but I'm going to talk about the image. They are floating pockets with pockets, and I used my original fabric art and some vintage linens to get these images. So let me first show you how the pocket's made. I call these the front of the pockets. And on the front, there's a pocket here, as well as, of course, the top loading pocket. Let me see if I can get it open. I pressed that paper so good, it's really kind of hidden. So this one has a side pocket. This one does too. And then when you turn them over, there is a top loading pocket here as well as the top loading pocket, and one right here, one right here. Okay, so this was interesting. I wanted some embroidery for two big journals that I'm making, so I started out with that. So let me show you what those look like. Here's my original embroidery, and oops, threads everywhere. You guys know how that goes. So these are done on corners of old linen scarves, and pretty old. But the fabric was still good, so I used them, and I like this little edging. So I have the edging on two sides. So the first thing I did was decide what my pots were going to be. I knew I had a watercolor of some terracotta pots. So here's what I did. I took my original watercolor and I scanned it and I printed it on fabric. Now I use the commercially prepared fabric because I don't have any of my own prepared stuff right now, and that's quite the process. So I have this watercolor image on fabric. From there, I made what I call my fabric appliques. I ironed that image down onto a stabilizer and then cut it out. And then I laid it on my fabric to decide where I wanted to draw my stems. Took it away for a while, embroidered the plant life, and then stitched the applique on. I did stitch it on, I did not glue it. Although with fabric tack you probably could. And this one is a pot that I made with a very ancient technique. It's called slashing. It goes way back to the Middle Ages, I guess. Thanks to all the YouTube videos I watched about 8 years ago. And I thought this would be great for this pot. I wanted it to look real earthy. And what that technique does is gives you color variations and a lot of texture. You can find lots of videos online about slashing, but I'll tell you quick how I did mine. I put snippets of fabric down, I piled them up, and then I laid a solid piece of terracotta color over top of it and sewed until I had the shape of a terracotta pot. Then what you do is take a sharp pair of scissors and you cut away either 1, 2, or even 3 layers of the fabric, exposing the different kinds of fabric you put under there, and then you have that color variation. I think it's terrific. So the embroideries I did myself, I drew myself, and in essence I made both of the pots. On this one I put a little plaque, and I wish I'd have done it on this one, which I might still, but because it's going in a journal, and it'll be a flip up in a journal, it'll flip up like this. I'm going to have a pad of paper underneath. So I started out here by saying full days of, and then I'll put some other journaling prompts on those pages underneath. So I liked the images, and I put them back on my scanner, and I just scanned them, and then created images. Now let me show you what that looked like. And I print my stuff out on photo paper. I don't like to waste any, so what I do is get the main images the size I want them first, like these, and then fill in the page with other size images. I just keep resizing until I get a whole page. That takes me down to something as tiny as that. And let me see if I can get this to focus, because even these little ones are just darling. Oh, this camera. Okay. So, let's see what happens if I go way up here. Nope, no good. I have a temperamental camera. I'm not sure about it, exactly what happens. Let me turn the autofocus on, see if I can get it. Perhaps. Yep, there it goes. So, I get such beautiful clear prints on this old sheet printer that I have, and it works beautifully. So I had all my images. So I put one image, let's start with the front. I put one main image on the front, and then let me take this autofocus off, it goes crazy. And then on the back, I put the corresponding image, so that each pocket has a different image of a pot, and the embroidery, of course. And as you can see, the rest of it is just a little collage. This piece of paper sticking out here is a print of a white doily that I had. I just used a portion of it. And this one has some fiber on it. I have done a whole batch of dyed fibers and pages. This is one of my dyed fibers also. I got tired of going to my sewing room, digging around and everything to try to find snippets of fibers that match. So I did a great big project of dyeing fabrics and papers to match, fabrics, laces, and papers to match. And I'll be talking more about that in another video, because I'm going to offer some of them on my Etsy site. So these pockets, just cute as the dickens, and I came about them because I use all my artwork in any way that I can. So out of these images, I'll make clusters, little books, tiny cards, tags, all kinds of things. So I hope this encourages you today. If you do any other kind of artwork other than paper artwork, if you do fabric paperwork or fabric work of any kind, scan your images and use them. Most of my stuff is a mix of paper arts and fabric arts, and I don't know how I could ever separate them out again. But go to my Etsy site. I'll put a link below if you want to see more pictures of these up close, and or just get some ideas. Check out my other things on my Etsy site as well. All kinds of things on there that you can use in journals. All right, thanks for watching. I appreciate it. Thanks to all the wonderful YouTubers out there who share with us and have just contributed to my artistic life more than I can ever say. Thanks a lot. Watch again.